Rational choice theory as a discipline responds to the existence of decision problems. That is, questions about what to do or what action to choose, given what it is that we value, what we desire, what we need, and also given what we know about the consequences of the choices that we make. Decision problems in that sense are everywhere. Aid agencies need to decide what interventions to make. Individuals need to decide what careers to pursue. The Monetary Policy Committee needs to decide where to set interest rates. Households need to decide how much to save each week. It's our job as rational choice theorists to provide an understanding of these decision problems and to say something about the kind of judgments that would support that understanding. And the different parts of rational choice theory target different kinds of decision problems made by different kinds of agents in different kinds of circumstances.
Decision theory is primarily concerned with how people should make choices, in particular how they should make the right choice. And by right here, we don't mean something, grand and heavy. We mean sort of not acting against their self-interest or not shooting themselves in the foot in some sense. This sort of fairly straightforward to make the right choice based on what you want or prefer when you're pretty sure about what the decision's outcome is going to be. Say, if I offer you apples and oranges, you prefer apples, and that's it, you get your apple. But it becomes much more involved to say, I offer you apples and a chance to win an orange. How do you go about making decisions when you're not sure about what the outcome of a decision is going to be? One question I'm particularly interested in is how we use imagination to make the very best decisions. I believe we are not just rational agents, we are also imaginative agents, and we use imagination instrumentally to make this world. What my work recently has been focused on is on providing a normative account of instrumental imagination. And I think there are many interesting questions that sort of pop up as a result of that.
Formal epistemology is about uncertainty and how, as rational agents, we should manage our uncertainties or credences. The two main questions are how our credences towards different propositions should relate to each other and how we should update our credence after learning a new proposition. Usually, formal epistemology appeals to mathematical frameworks like probability theory and Bayesianism to answer these questions, but the problem is these frameworks are only applicable to ideal agents who have no cognitive limitation. The difficult question is how a bounded agent, an agent who has some cognitive limitations, should manage their uncertainties and credences while remaining loyal to rationality norms. So in my PhD, I model a bounded Bayesian who is inquisitive and who has a very coarse-grained space of possibilities, or as in probability theory, they call it partition. So they have a very coarse-grained partition. And as new propositions become salient to them, they have to make this cognitive decision whether to fine-grain their space of possibilities with respect to this new proposition or not.
In my research in social choice theory, I focus on the intersection of individual decision-making and collective decision-making. You often think about them in separation, but I think there is crucial insight that we miss if we don't think about them together. For instance, in voting, a voter can face different types of uncertainty. And I argue it really matters how we conceptualize that for which collective decision mechanism or which voting rule we should implement. In some of my work, I argue this uncertainty type called ambiguity really changes how we should think about which voting rule we should implement. Another example is that every voting rule incentivizes in one way or another strategic voting. So there are different ways how we can mitigate strategic voting on the level of how we design a voting rule. In some of my work, I argue it really matters that you have the normative reasons clear, what is undesirable about strategic voting, to then inform the technical work in social choice theory, how you should mitigate this incentivization of strategic voting.
A major threat to democracy currently is polarization. It leads to heightened social conflict, reduced trust in political institutions, and a decreased support for political values. One key question in my research is whether deliberative decision-making can decrease polarization. Under which conditions, for example, do deliberative interactions lead to information cascades? And under which conditions do deliberative interactions contribute to social cohesion? Building on that, my research explores the optimal design of deliberative decision-making institutions. Take the British electoral system as an example. This first-past-the-post system might not enhance deliberative capital among representatives, but might rather incentivize them to show more polarizing behavior. My research is part of an exciting new project called Cohesive Capitalism, which brings together researchers from philosophy, politics, and economics. And I work in a sub-project on deliberation and cohesion. In this project, we bring together empirical, normative, and formal theoretical approaches to gain a better understanding of the value of deliberative decision-making for social cohesion.
I think LSE is one of the few places that really has focused on decision theory and is sort of a hub for decision theory research. I found it to be a great fit for me because it's open-minded, it's intellectually rigorous, yet very supportive environment. And I think it is rare to have all three in any place.
So for me, philosophy is about digging deep, and good philosophy is about digging deep under questions that matters to people's lives by helping scientists, policymakers, and activists find the best possible answer. And I think LSE philosophy provides an opportunity to do good philosophy.
But I think what LSE makes special is that even though not everyone works on rational choice theory, everyone has a competence at rational choice theory. You never need to explain to anyone what social choice theory is. But you get very valuable insights in how their respective fields relates to rational choice theory or social choice theory. So you can talk to political philosophers, philosophers of science, people who do ethics, who know what you're doing, and get those kind of very valuable insight about how your own research relates to different fields and how it can be relevant to other people's research. And I think that's very special.
Decision problems are never going to go away. They will just change in nature as the nature of society and technology around us changes. So decision theorists will always be in business in one form or another. And I think that there will always be the stream of interesting questions for us to address. The challenge for philosophical rational choice theory is to avoid getting stuck inside insular, problem-solving, paradox-mongering type work, and to focus on the ways in which they can contribute to the understanding of what happens in the future.